worry about this $24 million check that coming in. Hey, I'm still good. I still do what I want. My bills paid. I ain't worried about anything.
Yeah, even though I'm resting, even though I'm sitting out today's game, I still get to collect my paycheck.
Yeah, I was looking at Derrick Rose. I'm like, man. I mean, hopefully he'll come back. Hopefully he'll come back. Play the rest of the season. I just couldn't believe he didn't come back, man. And he was cleared. The doctor cleared him, but he just took it upon himself just to sit out for the whole season. That was crazy. And they could have won that championship.
Yeah. And Steve Kerr, the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, he's actually a former player. Like I said, he used to play for the Bulls during the 90s. He's more famous for getting punched in the face by Michael Jordan at practice. But Steve Kerr, he said that he received some angry emails from fans about him resting his players last week. So he's hearing it from the fans.
I mean, we don't want to kill the players. The players need rest because, injuries, that's understandable. But, I mean, okay, let's break it down like this. When we say resting, what do we mean when we say resting?
Well, when we say resting, the meaning instead of, for the Warriors situation, Steve Kerr, the head coach of the Warriors, he pretty much decided that his starting lineup is not going to play. He's not going to play. He's going to sit on the bench and watch the game from the bench. He's not going to play. And so,
the whole thing.
Yeah, so instead he just played a bunch of backups and reserves, and pretty much saying the players need to rest because some of the players complained they were too tired, so the coach gave them rest. Gave them the night off.
How do they be too tired if they ain't playing through the whole game? I don't understand it. They must play like a game before, like yesterday. They played Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? They played three games a week.
Something like 3 or 4 games a week. But I mean, my point is though is that if players from the 90s did it, players in the 80s did it, players in the 2000s did it, players in the 70s did it, players in the 60s did it, players in the 50s did it, players in the 40s did it, why can't players here in the 10s do it? No, I mean, seriously, what do the players today? What do the players today have that is so difficult in going on in their lives that that the players in the 40s had it players today act like they have it so much harder than let's say the players in the 40s. Well, all the nonsense that was going on in the 40s, those guys never missed a game. Players in the 40s didn't rest nobody. They played all 82 games, so why players today can't do it? Like I said to start the segment, in 1998, Michael Jordan, at 35 years old, played all 103 games for the Bulls and led the Bulls to the championship. So if Michael Jordan at 35 could play 103 games, why can't Stephen Curry at 27, why can't Klay Thompson at 25 play all 82 games for the Warriors?
I know why. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Facebook. 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 Twitter. Basketball wise. They're too Hollywood, man. Basketball ain't got feminine. It's more a feminine sport now, man. You understand? They're feminizing basketball. Basketball used to be a masculine sport. You watch, Michael Jordan, it's like a dunk from the free throw line. I don't want
to use the word feminine, or because there is no women's basketball. But I guess the more appropriate word. I guess the more appropriate word is the word that Karl Malone used. That is, they're soft. As Charles Oakley was saying, players. Back in the day, man, used to, go at it, man, used to elbow, clothesline each other, and nowadays they don't even touch each other.
What's Shaq's take on it?
Shaq has not spoken on it, even though Shaq's teammate with the Lakers, Rick Fox, says that he doesn't like it. And some breaking news here. Jack Haley, he played on those Chicago Bulls teams of the '90s. When he played for the Chicago Bulls in '96, won a championship. Back in '96, when the Bulls won an NBA record 72 games that season, and won the championship to beat the Seattle SuperSonics that year. But he just passed away at the age of 51. He died of heart disease.
Man, R.I.P. to him.
Yeah, only 51 years old, and he played for the Chicago Bulls, New Jersey Nets, Los Angeles Lakers, and San Antonio Spurs during his career. And he's also known for being Dennis Rodman's best friend. So I know Dennis Rodman was taking it pretty hard. And Scottie Pippen, he said on Twitter, very sorry to hear my old teammate Jack Haley has passed away. He was a great guy who I stayed in touch with over the years. And R.I.P. So rest in peace to Jack Haley, who dies at the age of 51, former Chicago Bulls player.
You want to do a moment of silence for him?
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the NFL. As the big story in the NFL today is last night San Francisco 49ers linebacker Chris Borland announced his retirement from the NFL at just 24 years old after playing just one season in the NFL. And he said his reasoning for retiring early was because of all the new data out right now about long-term effects of concussions. And last week, Bowden, you and I, we talked about with all these players retiring early, should the NFL be concerned about the future of the sport? And you said last week that you said no. You said that you didn't think the NFL should be concerned at all. But now, a week later, do you still feel the same way as you did last week, or do you feel like the NFL should be worried about the future of the sport?
I think the NFL should take more precautions when they play. They should, come up with more innovative ways to protect the head of the player. You know what I'm saying? Concussion is a serious thing. They got to do better with them helmets.
Well, they have. I mean, the helmets now are totally different than how the helmets were even 10 years ago. So they've done things and new things, but the way I look at it is at the end of the day, there's only so much the NFL could do. The game of football in itself is a barbaric sport, and you got men who weigh over 200 pounds running at each other at full speed, just colliding with one another. And anybody out there that's ever played football with pads on, them hits sound like you just got into a car accident. It's a collision sport, and so unless you take the physicality out of football and just start playing two-hand touch, you're gonna have concussions, you're gonna have injuries. So there's always so much the NFL can do to limit it. The question they're gonna have though is that, and I talked about this last week, is that participation in Pop Warner is down. Parents don't want their kids playing football. Now we got players retiring in their 20s. turning down millions and millions of dollars into playing football. And now, if you're the NFL or just in general, I mean, just a sport of football in general, whether it's Pop Warner, high school, college, whatever, NFL, you got to start to wonder, man, the future of the sport because they're not worried about our generation. It's your son's generation. Because 10 years from now, there's more information now about the long-term effects of concussions than there was when I was in high school 10 years ago. And some of the stuff that I've read about concussions, if I would have known about that stuff in high school, instead of me playing football, I probably would have focused more on either basketball or tennis or something like that. And so, because those are other sports that I play, was basketball and tennis, I would have focused more on those sports instead of football, knowing the stuff that I know today. So now with more and more information out, there's probably even going to be more information out 10 years from now than there is today. So 10 years from now, when your son is in high school, he might read up on all this stuff and say, like, look, what's the point of me, suffering through brain damage when I could easily just, play, basketball or soccer or baseball or something like that and still make the same amount of money without, killing myself.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. That's the issue the NFL and just the sport of football in general might have.
But anything that you go into in life, whether it's golf or NASCAR or even basketball. I mean, basketball don't have no helmet or anything, but you go up for layup, somebody go up under, you can fall on your head. And that brain damage right there, concussion.
Yeah, but the way as soft as the NBA is becoming, that's not gonna happen because, as you heard Karl Malone and Charles Oakley said, man, don't even touch nobody. Nobody even touches nobody anymore. This ain't the '90s.
Well, like I said, anything you do, it have a risk. Do I think it's gonna affect NFL? No, because as long as you have, as long as you have football in high school. And in high school football and have college football. I mean, college football is king.
Yeah, but that's the problem. That's the problem, though, is that parents don't want their kids playing football. So if parents don't want their kids playing football, that affects high school football. And so if nobody's playing high school football, that's going to affect college football. If that affects college football, it's going to turn and affect the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, but are there like data that the sport of football going downhill to the point where people are not actually, is that data like accurate? Is they really actually, is it, or we just talking about going forward?
Over the last, 3 or 4 years of participation in Little League, Pop Warner has gone down because parents are saying they don't want their kids playing football. Now, high school football, kids are still playing high school football and kids are still playing college football. But Pop Warner is going down. And so the age level for Pop Warner, like I said, your son's age group, that generation, that's the age right now that's playing Pop Warner. So if your son's age group, his generation, if they're not playing football now, then what makes you think that, 10 years from now when they get to high school, they're going to want to play football? When they've already grown up, playing other sports like baseball and basketball and stuff like that, or soccer. And so as they get older, they're just going to continue playing the sports they're already playing. And then when they get to college, they're going to, continue playing the other sports because they feel like, okay, now I have opportunity to get a scholarship. And then once they're in college, they say, I can go pro in this sport and still make millions of dollars without actually, dealing with the side effects of playing football. So that's what I mean. The future is not so much us, me and you generation, or the generation that's in college right now, or the generation that's in high school right now. It's the generation that's in elementary school right now. That generation, their parents don't want them playing football. And because of that generation, they're not playing Pop Warner. And that's why I said, 15, 20 years from now, should the NFL be worried about the future of its sport? Because 15, 20 years from now, it's going to be people like your son who's going to be playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
And if